Hello and welcome to a special edition of Video Game Logic. I'm your host, Gaming Psychologist. On today's show, we are going to be having what is known as the Franken episode. We've mentioned it a few times. We plan to have more of these in the future, but what these episodes act like are buffers for when we have to be gone or when bad things happen, which is what has happened this week. We recorded the show, as normally, on Tuesday night, but there was a bit of an audio issue that I was unable to repair that left me quiet, like unhearably quiet, and very scratchy in the places where you could hear me. Not 100% sure what happened. I think it was my fault in the editing room, but regardless, the episode is unusable. And we don't have time to record another one, so instead, welcome to the first of the Franken episodes. As I said before, these episodes are created from content that doesn't fit in with other episodes that we've recorded, be it at the time, or a discussion goes on way too long, or we're running way too long, and I just have to find something to cut out. The bits that you will hear have come from various episodes over the past month or two, so you might recognize the context around them as we're talking about other things that are going on. And for a couple of the clips, Kyle's going to be there, so obviously we know which episode those come from. Kyle, be ready to hear about all that fun stuff we talked about. But without further ado, enjoy the show. Our next news topic is Blizzard closes a private WoW server.
Oh boy, this is going to be a fun one for me, and I think a snooze fest for you, Jared.
So the general gist of what has happened is that there was a server, a pretty big server.
Yeah, do you want to take a crack at the name of it? Because I don't.
Where's the name of it? Oh. The Nostalrius.
Oh, that's as good as I've heard.
The Nostalrius server.
We'll just go with that pronunciation.
Anyways, we could just say the Nostalgia server. The Nostalgia server, because it was running a more classic version of
we should
WoW.
go into what a private server is. It's essentially an emulated copy of, really any MMO game. But in this case, it was running, based on what they're talking about on the official site, they call it Progressive Vanilla, so the release version of World of Warcraft.
Right. And it had roughly around 150,000 active players.
Yeah, according to their infographics that they have on the official site, which who knows how long that'll last, I had 150,000 active accounts with 800,000 accounts created, manned by 30 volunteers, with 2 million hits on the website each month, which is just absurd.
Yeah. But basically Blizzard enacted a takedown of it due to them saying that it violated some of their terms of service.
Yeah, their terms of service is very overarching and basically says that you can't use the software outside of their official servers. And I'm going to say that I completely understand where Blizzard is coming from, that they have to protect their copyright ID. Or their IP, I should say. This is a copyright as well, but at the same time, I think they made the right business decision based on their lawyers, but they made the wrong decision based on what the players want. They have 150,000 people playing on this vanilla server, and they've come out time and time again saying that they will not do legacy servers, and actually insulting people who ask for it. The JonTron video that's going to be in the show notes. I don't know the devs by face, so I can't tell you exactly who that was on stage. But he said, essentially, no, you do not want that. When he was asked at that looked like the latest BlizzCon where they were talking about Legion.
Yeah, that was last year's BlizzCon.
Yeah, they were talking, doing a Q&A, and someone in the crowd asked about legacy servers, bringing back the old WoW. Because there are a lot of people out there, myself included, who stopped playing WoW for various reasons over the years due to what they changed about the game. And personally myself, I stay away from the game because of a lot of stuff that they changed.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't care about the progression of WoW. WoW for me was always about the social aspects of the game. And once my friends kind of drifted away from WoW, it became something that I just logged on to check out the new lore stuff and then quit. So, I mean, I totally get people wanting to play legacy versions of the game. I get that. I get that there are people who were very unhappy with various stages of development of the game but would like it to go back to the way it was before. And I think Blizzard would make a killing if they opened up legacy servers. It would be difficult to say how many servers that they could do, but I would say that one or two, like for example, one server that was purely vanilla WoW and one server that was maybe Lich King WoW, because based on numbers, that was when WoW plateaued in terms of popularity, was Wrath of the Lich King. So I bet they would make a killing on people coming back to play those old versions of the game.
The counterpoint is also just how much of this old software do they still have kicking around? Because if they don't have the server side stuff, they'd have to basically recreate the game. So I do understand why they may not want to, but they could be a lot more kind in their PR when they talk about, why they won't do a legacy server. And
yeah,
it's coming around again to a point that we talked about when we were talking about Tracer's ass. That Blizzard has gotten so big that they really don't care about what the general population thinks. And I know that this is probably going to be the minority, so maybe this is kind of counteracting, talking both sides of the argument here. Blizzard listening to the minority opinion, and at the same time not listening to the minority opinion. But this is also more than one person complaining on a forum. We should point that out. This is 150,000 people playing on a server. There's people out there that want this. And Blizzard has literally insulted people just because, well, for one, they lack the self-awareness anymore, and they've gotten too big. They've gotten too sure in their position. They realize that they have the biggest Western MMO in the world. I'm not sure if it's the biggest MMO in the world because I don't know the Eastern MMO numbers. So, and since also Blizzard doesn't report their numbers anymore, so we don't know their exact population anymore.
Do a quick Google search. Let's see if we can tell what the biggest MMO is. I do have to say that, yes, 150,000 players is their minority. They stopped reporting numbers at around 5 million. Mm-hmm. So 150,000 is roughly 5% of their total, a little less than 5%.
But this is literally just people actively playing on the server. There was 800,000 accounts on that server.
Right. So, that is a minority, but it's a big enough number that it could support a game. So, I mean, there are tons of games, mobile games or multiplayer games, that would kill for 150,000 active players. I mean, that's more than probably a couple of the biggest games that you can think of on Steam. Like, I'm pretty sure that's more active players than Team Fortress.
Yeah, actually, let's go to the Steam stats and see.
All right, you do that while I keep looking for the biggest MMO population.
Okay. If we were going by putting it literally the nostalgia server onto the Steam stat list, it would rank right at number 4, going head and head against number 3 right now. But also, that's kind of unfair considering the day we're recording this.
Since it's a Monday.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the game that just released about 3 or 4 hours ago.
What game just released 3 or 4 hours ago?
Dark Souls 3.
Oh, that was today. Dark Souls 3 had a weird launch. Since you could get it, obviously you could get it in Japan like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and you could get it in the United States if you turned your account into a Japanese account, downloaded the game, and then turn it back to United States or an American account. Weird,
Yeah, and
weird
they
stuff.
also did this weird thing with the streaming where they gave it to a lot of streamers, but it said only stream the beginning of the game, and so many spoilers got out because of that.
Yeah.
Uh, that that's another game that it's something that we had on the topic list at one point. It's a good game that's being screwed over a bit by crappy marketing and game devs or publisher, most likely in this case. They have no idea what the fuck they are doing. But anyway, this server would literally be let's call it number 4 on the Steam stats.
Yeah.
I mean, that's absolutely huge. There's so many devs that would kill to have that position.
Yeah. I mean, there were. So, I mean, I don't know how much money they would make, but assuming that people played a regular $15 per month subscription.
Here's the thing: is that they went out of their way to make sure that this server made no money, that it actually cost them money to try to prevent something like this from happening.
Right.
There was, at least according to all the reports I've heard, no microtransactions on the store, or they didn't even have a store, which is one thing that a lot of these private servers do is they make it so that you could buy power directly.
Yeah.
And they did not do that. It was as close to vanilla WoW as you could get in 2016. And they were in the process of working on the old raids to be able to script them properly to release a progression system.
So I finally found a list that is pretty current. And this is not active subscribers, it's just registered users.
Okay.
But this was taken in the last 6 months. So here we go. Number 1 MMO, Dungeon Fighter Online, 400 million registered users.
I'm going to guess that's an Asian one.
Dungeon Fighter Online, also called Dungeon and Fighter, is the most popular MMO in the world, largely due to its success in China.
Called it.
Number 2, Fantasy Westward Journey, with 310 million registered users. Again, it's a Chinese game. Number 3.
It feels a little like cheating for a Chinese game, to be honest, because there's just so many damn people there.
Well, WoW is pretty far down the list, actually. Number 3, RuneScape.
Oh, didn't expect RuneScape to be that high.
200 million registered users.
Wow.
Number 4.
I can understand it, though, because RuneScape has a very low barrier to entry.
Yeah. I should play RuneScape again. It's been a while since I played it.
Oh, it's been ages since I played RuneScape.
Number 4, Dragon's Nest, which I have played before. Fun MMO. Kind of a WoW clone, in my opinion. But it's got an anime art style, which I think is cute. Anyways, 200 million users, registered users. And it's also, it's a Korean MMO. Number 5, The Legend of Mir 3. 120,
the third one, of course.
120 million registered users. It's a very, very old MMO. Actually, it's shut down in the United States. So it's only available in the East. Number 6, Maple Story. 100 million registered users. Mostly in China and Korea.
Yeah, I think it does have a little bit of following in the West, but not much.
Number 7, World of Warcraft. 100 million registered users. It doesn't say where most of its users are from. Although I know it is pretty big in China, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, for at least a few of the expansions, particularly Wrath of the Lich King, they lost a lot of money because they had to basically redo a ton of assets. Because they, I'm not sure if it was outlawed or if it was just considered a social taboo that they couldn't show skeletons. And Wrath of the Lich King, kind of a lot of skeletons.
Interesting. Number 8, I'm just going to go ahead and go through the top 10. Number 8, ZT Online. No idea what that is. Never heard of it before. 100 million registered users. But it says estimate, so that's why it's at number 8. It's got a little note. Number 9, Scions of Fate. Never heard of that before either.
We'll just assume Eastern.
approaching 100 million users. Number 10, Ragnarok Online, 80 million registered users.
I haven't thought of Ragnarok Online for a long time.
And this says it's equally popular in the East and the West, with numbers roughly split down the middle.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's the top 10 most populated MMOs. Now, bear in mind, this is not active users, it's just registered users.
Yeah, so I would appear on the list for RuneScape and WoW, for example.
Yeah, I appear on the list for several of these, actually. RuneScape, WoW, Dragon's Nest, and then there's a few down the list that I've played as well. Perfect World, Terra, Star Wars: The Old Republic. So, I think I've played Blade and Soul too, actually. That one's on the list. I've played a lot of MMOs. If only VR MMOs were a thing from Sword Art Online, I would be all over that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, there'd be a reason why you'd never leave Eve.
I would wind up divorced.
You'd be sitting on my recliner with a VR headset.
So I'd sit in my pod.
A VR headset and an adult diaper on, and that's it.
That's it. You're right. And a feeding tube.
A tube in one end and a tube in the other. Eliminate the diaper.
Oh, my. So, yeah, I mean, I don't...
This is a drop in the bucket, though.
Yeah.
But it's also... Blizzard has gone after private servers a lot, historically, when an expansion is coming up. Because they want to drive people back to the main game. And I don't think they're doing that.
Yeah,
People that are playing on a vanilla server, it's the piracy fallacy. It isn't lost sales if they are never going to buy your game. These people played your game ages and ages ago. We'll assume that a good chunk of these people have legit copies and they just didn't download the game. Okay, we'll assume that much. Because I think the people that are going to be playing this game are the ones that have the nostalgia factor. Or the ones that are there for the community. So that's the ones that may have been pirating the game. You've already gotten your money from these people. And you change the game to the point that you've lost them. The only way to get them back is to return to that old system, to bring back the talent trees, to bring back the progression system like it was. Whatever chased these people off, assuming that it wasn't social factors, that it wasn't their guild breaking up and like, I don't feel like playing, getting a new guild, screw this. This isn't lost money for you. This is actually advertisement for you because people that see people playing the old game may think, I wonder what the game is like now. It's the same argument that people would use against Let's Players. That someone watching the game, someone experiencing the game that way, considers that a lost sale, when in truth it's advertisement. What do you think?
I agree with you for the most part, but I'm sitting here doing some math. Let's say that they managed to convert 150,000 users. So there were 800,000 using it before, so I'm not going to say it's 100% conversion rate, but let's say they were able to get the 150,000 users that were active. That's $2.25 million a month before taxes and overhead. Even if they lost 50% of that revenue due to taxes, overhead, employee fees,
I understand. There is a lot of money on the table. But the question is that money on the table? That's my question about it.
I mean, that's $1 million a month. It's tough. That's tough. Those are big numbers, and I suppose compared to for Blizzard, that's chump change. But I mean that's $12 million a year if they could keep that conversion for 12 months. $12 million is still a lot for a lot of companies. I don't think that Blizzard's big enough that they would look at $12 million and go, just fuck it. I don't know. I don't know how much turnover they have. So it's difficult to say. Like, those are numbers that are ridiculously huge to us, but on the scale of company that Blizzard Activision is.
Okay, well, look at it this way. If they converted the 150,000 from the 800,000 accounts, which that's a bit of a fallacy there, saying that there's a possibility of 8,000 accounts, because that also includes people that popped on once to check it out and saw that it wasn't for them and left. And
That's true.
The server shutting down means nothing.
Right.
But if somehow by some miracle magic that they got 100% conversion rate, every single person that was active on this server, assuming that, and this is assuming, of course, that they're not hugely pissed off at Blizzard, which, why would they be pissed off at Blizzard? No reason for that, but that is 3% of their last reported user base. 3%.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's tough. Those numbers games are always difficult to look at.
It all depends on how you put the numbers. $1 million a month after assumed taxes, or 3% of your user base, potentially. It's literally the same number expressed two different ways.
Yeah. It's tough. I think that Blizzard was well within their legal right to do this.
Yeah, it really comes down to legal right versus being a good leader of gaming. Or that's not even the proper way to say it, because Blizzard really isn't a leader of gaming, because that includes Activision, and I definitely don't want them to be that.
Yeah, I think
a good
Blizzard
member of the gaming community. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think Blizzard is big enough, though, to separate themselves from Activision. I recognize that they're a combined pseudo-corporate entity, but Blizzard has its own culture outside of Activision.
Yeah, but it has this weird growth on the side of its head that keeps releasing titles over and over again every single year.
That's true. So it's tough. As a business decision, probably a smart move. Purely from business. As a PR move, stupid. As another move towards defining the gaming community, probably not the best one. So it's a tough call.
Okay, now here's the question: is it Tracer ass stupid?
No, I don't think it's that stupid. It's definitely not that. It's not that level. I don't think that it was the right call to make whenever you consider all the factors together. But looking at it from their standpoint,
yeah, they have to protect their IP. But
they have to protect their trademarks and their copyrights.
But here's the thing: is that they could license the trademark to them for $1.
Yeah,
but that is legitimizing this as well. So that you start hitting a problem.
Well, if they license it to them, then they can make money off of it. Although, I mean, Blizzard could license it to them for 10 or heck, even 50%, and they could still probably make enough money to support their private server. And
well, the thing is, that's the problem, is that this server wasn't making money. They intentionally made it so it wasn't making money.
Right.
It was a losing proposition.
Right, in order to avoid potential legal consequences. But they could,
that worked swimmingly for them.
Yeah, for a while it did, at least. But they can make it a win-win for everybody. It's like, we license you our property for a small fee. We take a percentage of the money that you make. You can charge whatever you want, and then the people who are running the server probably would just charge enough to break even, or maybe make a little bit extra in case they've got slow months or something happens. Mm-hmm. And win-win for everybody. I don't know. I see why they did it. I don't think that it was something that they didn't have the right to do, or, something that is controversial. I don't know, maybe. But, I don't think that it was a stupid decision. I just think that if they had taken some time, they could have made a better decision.
I think this was purely a lawyer decision, that a lot of these big companies have lawyers on retainer, a huge amount of them, and they need something to do with them. It's literally like having an army.
Yeah.
If you have a standing army big enough, you want to fight someone.
Right.
And it's sad that it comes to this, because everything that I've seen about it, just the screenshots of the huge parades going to the different cities, just it's sad to see this community shut down that I never knew about.
And that's all I have to say about that. I don't know. It's sad, but
It's once again Blizzard doing the right thing, business wise or law wise. But the problem is that the letter of the law and what is good for gaming as a community are not always in line with one another.
right. What is legal and what is moral are not always the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. And I'm just looking at, they have a couple subreddits here and just seeing, there's a lot of people saying that they will never play a Blizzard game again, or, not play official Blizzard.
Right.
And the official forum topic that they had discussing the shutdown, nuked, by the way.
Yeah.
I was wanting to put that in the show notes for people to read through. And every single link on every single story I found to it, gone.
Bye-bye.
Well, that ends the show.
I mean, we are at, we had that little break in there, but we are at getting close to 3 hours recording time.
2 hours, 46 minutes, showtime.
Transition time.
I started watching Log Horizon. We've got some friends who like anime, and I think I told you this. Katie tried watching some anime, and our friends recommended Log Horizon to her. Like, yeah, I think you'd like this. It's a show that like takes the time to explain things to you. So even though you're not familiar with anime, it goes slow. Mm-hmm. And
how'd she like it?
She didn't.
You said that she likes mysteries, though, right?
Yeah, she does like mysteries and like crime dramas and thrillers.
Well, there's two anime that I thought of right off the bat. Haruka, which is basically Sherlock Holmes in high school. It's very light on the mysteries, nothing real major.
Okay.
All fairly softball stuff, no real stakes. And then there's another one called Go Sick, which is sort of also Sherlock Holmes-esque, but not nearly as ass-pully as Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
But it is a lot more hardcore, and it has a more overarching story. Haruka is more, you could break it up into, I want to say about 5 or 6 story arcs over the course of 24, 25 episodes.
That's pretty good progression.
Yeah, while Go Sick is pretty much just a singular story from start to finish. And there are arcs, but it all contributes to a single story, and it is a lot more serious.
Right.
And it deals with more serious subjects like murder, while Haruka is more, and I'm absolutely butchering the pronunciation of it because I do not speak Japanese, and if Amy is watching this, she's probably cringing because she does, or at least she understands it.
Yeah, I don't speak Japanese either. I always try and find the English title for the show.
Yeah, well, Go Sick is pretty easy. Haruka has a couple of translations. One is actually a little bit of a spoiler.
Okay.
So that's why I'm not using it. But to give you an idea of one of the mysteries on that show, they're trying to figure out why a bunch of girls are checking out this one particular book every single day. Yeah, it's mysteries like that that are very softball, but are interesting.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I will say that it does suffer a little bit from a bit of a fatigue because the last half it's not nearly as interesting as the first half.
Okay,
but still a very good show.
What's some good anime that's dubbed? Because I think she struggles with the subtitles. And I think
I'm not sure if either of them are dubbed. I would have to actually go look at a list because I don't really watch dubbed anime. I watch subtitles.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've seen a couple of dubs, but I always go back and rewatch the subs.
The big dub has to be Cowboy Bebop, though. I mean, that's one of the best out there.
Yeah.
But it's also an absolutely ancient anime at this point. And welcome to Video Game Logic, the anime podcast.
Anime edition. This might get cut for to go into our Franken episode. We'll see.
I'm glad you like the name of it, at least.
Yeah, I like that. So yeah. Because she struggles with the subtitles, but like I'm with you. I watch subbed anime, so the only dubbed anime that I really know of is things that have come to the United States, and it gets so cut up that the stories sometimes become unintelligible.
Yeah, there's a very famous example of, I want to say it's Sailor Moon, that they absolutely dropped a subplot because it was a lesbian romance.
Yeah.
So they made the two cousins. Or something like that.
I believe it's Robotech, actually. The dub and the sub version are two completely different shows. I believe it's Robotech. It might be it's a mecha anime, and they brought the version over to the United States. They dubbed it and just made up a story for it. And like the story makes sense, but if you watch the Japanese version, you're like, this is not the same show.
Yeah. Trying to think, a good movie if she likes sci-fi, and especially kind of just goofy sci-fi, would be like Summer Wars. That's a rather goofy, fun movie, but it also has a serious plot to it.
Summer Wars, not familiar with that.
And I know that definitely has a dub to it.
Okay. I was thinking about showing her the Sword Art Online dub. The first season is released in dub. I think the second season has a DVD dub, but it's not on Crunchyroll. And I'm sure if I looked a little bit harder online, I could find it. But I'm trying to stick to Crunchyroll just because that's like an app on the Xbox. And so if she got interested, it would be easy for her to use. And only the first season is dubbed on there. And it's fine. I've watched it subbed and dubbed, and the stories are the same. There's little cuts here and there and certain things that don't translate well, which is why I don't like the dubbed version, because there's a big difference in spoken language and written language. And translating spoken language to spoken language you can lose a lot in translation, whereas you can write it more literally. And it might not necessarily make sense to speak, but when you read it, you can be like, oh, okay, I get what's going on. A lot better. So localization is always tough.
I do believe that there's an English dub of Haruka. I'm looking for it now.
Okay. I definitely, while you're looking up that, I watched this most recent episode of Asterisk War, and I got really mad at it. Because it's like, I've been watching that show just because it's like fun, kind of junky, like junk food anime. Mm-hmm. And something in the story actually happened that made me a little bit mad. Do you like care for spoilers or?
Not really, because I don't think I'm gonna watch Asterisk War. I'm gonna watch the other one.
Chivalry of a Failed Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a better show. No, so in Asterisk War, the whole thing behind this kid.
Looks like there isn't a English dub of it, which is sad because that's probably one of the better mystery animes out there, detective style at least. Okay.
I'll see though. She might like, if it's a story she's more interested in, she can deal better with the subtitles. But
well, the main character is an absolute slug of a person. He's lazy.
Right. That's the best kind.
His motto is, if I have to do it, I'll do it quickly.
And just like get it over with.
Yeah. But anyway, Asterisk War.
Yeah, so anyways, in the Asterisk War, the main character, his name is Ayato. And his kind of shtick is that he's like the most powerful person, but he has explosively uncontrollable power. So it was sealed away, and he can only access like bits and pieces of it at a time. until he learns like how to control it better and gain more access to it. And it's like, okay, fine, that could be an interesting story mechanic that like plays out throughout the whole.
Oh no, he finally got full control of it, didn't he?
He doesn't have full control over it. The episode ends like on a cliffhanger, but it's like, I was like, obviously this is about to happen. He's about to get a lot more power suddenly just because the story demands it. Because they've not really spent very much time on it at all. Like, it would be an interesting plot, like his development and how he's able to access the power he has now. Because there are flashbacks where he tries to use his power and it like hurts him because they've sealed it away, so he doesn't use it. And how he's learned to be able to control what he can of it now. And like just all of a sudden it's like, oh, thank you for saying this thing to me. You have unlocked the next level of my power. I mean, that's not exactly what he says at the end of the episode, but like, I mean, that's what he's getting at. And I was like, oh, so we went through this whole episode, had like this really crappy like tournament battle, not very good because like the whole time they're like keep pointing out like, yes, Ayato has limits to his power. He can only access it for a few minutes max before it wears him out. And like they keep pointing that out over and over. And it's like the end is like, oh, thank you. Euless, that's his partner and like his love interest. He's like, oh yes, thank you, Euless, for saying that to me. It made me realize. And she's like, realize what? And then the episode ends. And it's like, obviously he's going to say, somehow, what you just said to me has given me like the insight or the strength or whatever to access the next level of my power. And then I went and I looked ahead in the manga. And I was exactly right. Like the next episode is going to be him like spending the whole episode powering up basically like Dragon Ball Z, and she like is protecting him during the tournament battle. And then probably the next episode is when we will get to see him unleash his power and defeat their enemies in the tournament. And it just like that really frustrated me. Like it's like not giving any attention to it. Don't really, they're not really caring. Just all of a sudden, oh, the story demands that he be more powerful. Okay, let's make him more powerful. And that was frustrating.
Okay. I was looking through this list of the best anime dubs. I found one that I think she'll like, but I haven't watched it yet, so I can't say full on if she'll like it or not. But it's called Monster.
Okay.
A renowned brain surgeon of Japanese descent working in Europe. He basically has to choose between saving the town's mayor or a child, and he chooses the child, and because of that, well, things go to shit, and he has to figure out what's going on.
Okay, interesting.
It's a long series, though. It's 74 episodes.
Yep, that is pretty long.
But it's also on my anime list ranked 8.74 out of 10 by just short of 74,000 users.
That's good.
Then there's things like Full Metal Alchemist, which is also pretty good. I would suggest Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood over the original, just because it has a better storyline. It is a bit rushed in the beginning.
I've seen Full Metal Alchemist, but I've never seen Brotherhood.
Brotherhood, at about the midpoint of Full Metal Alchemist, it goes off and does its own storyline. Since you have seen Full Metal Alchemist, spoiler by the way, approximately halfway point where you discover that the weakness of the homunculi or the remains of their old bodies, that's about the place where it splits off, and it is a completely new storyline. And Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is a completely different story from that point forward.
Okay.
So I strongly suggest going there. Cowboy Bebop, of course. If I would say for Full Metal Alchemist, it probably pays to watch about the first third to the first half, and then switch to Brotherhood. You'll get some repeat information, but it makes it a more cohesive story. Right. But it also makes it like 75 episodes.
Right. Well, I mean, that's okay. I don't have a problem with that.
Let's see. Attack on Titan, which I haven't seen.
Attack on Titan has an English dub?
It's on this list.
I did not realize that. I mean, it might not be in Crunchyroll, though, because Crunchyroll is where I've watched Attack on Titan.
Yeah, it has an English dub.
Okay. She might like Attack on Titan. It's a fantasy, it's in the fantasy realm, so She likes fantasy stuff.
Let's see. I would say pretty much anything Studio Ghibli.
Right. So I got a big list to claw through.
Like Spirited Away, I think is probably really good. Whispers of the Heart, even though the theme song kind of threw me for a loop for that one. Or do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
I was watching Whispers of the Heart, which is one of Ghibli's old anime movies, and we're completely off track, but we'll just cut all this and put it in the Franken show.
Right.
Whispers of the Heart started, and I'm listening to the theme song, watching the opening. It's like, this song seems familiar somehow. And then I just hear Country Roads. It's like, wait, really? It's Country Roads? Basically like the theme song for my state.
Oh, nice.
I felt like old Biff from Back to the Future is like, there's something very familiar about this. Well, let's see. Just on the list still, Eden in the East isn't bad. It's a bit weird. Fully Cooley, FLCL. If she wants something just completely off the wall bonkers, there you go.
Okay.
Just going down the list. Monster, there's that. There's Case Closed, which is all the Detective Conan stuff.
Detective Conan.
Pokemon.
Oh, yeah. Pokemon.
Pokemon is such a bad anime.
Pokemon, gotta catch up, you and me.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious how Team Rocket has been after this one Pikachu for how many years now?
Long time.
And they never even gotten close.
No, they've gotten close a few times. I think they actually captured him in one episode of the anime, and but Ash rescued him before anything bad happened.
See, oh, they're cheating on this list. Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. That's cheating. Those aren't anime. They're anime style, but they're not anime.
Yep, they are cartoons.
See, Kids on the Slope. That's a good one. I wasn't sure if there was an English dub of that or not. Girl Who Leapt Through Time. That's a really good movie. If she likes sci-fi, that's excellent. That's a time travel movie.
She likes sci-fi okay, but she's definitely not as into it as I am.
Let's see, Ghost in the Shell.
Ooh, Ghost in the Shell. That's a fun one.
And list-wise, they're pretty much repeating at this point. Afro Samurai.
I don't think she'd like that. Maybe, but I don't think so.
Yeah, there's just so many that are either things that are absolutely ancient or just repeats. But it's a good place to start. Try to ease her into subs.
Yeah.
Because that's so much easier.
Yeah, it is.
Because I could list so many more that she would like.
Okay, let's get back on track.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the time. It's almost 2 a.m. I like to make it to bed by 3.
Okay. So we're actually going to finish this at one point.
Yeah. What was the last thing we were talking about?
We were talking about Kyle's tweet.
Right. Okay.
So we have a large chunk for the Franken show.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna do a hard cut. Let's see, 249.54. Let me.
Yeah, and you're just gonna have to try to figure this one out. Of course, that would require me to actually enjoy sports, or watching sports, I should say. I enjoy my sports games. But unfortunately, EA just decided that, PC players, they don't need football. They don't need really any sports games.
Who needs them? Who needs sports?
But then again, we would just update the rosters and not buy the same damn game every year. So maybe they have a point.
That's true. I'm awaiting the day that there's free-to-play sports games, and it's like... they just update the roster every year.
You mean good free-to-play sports games?
Yeah, good point. Like good free to play, like football, soccer, basketball.
Because I remember there was this baseball MMO that was interesting. You played a single player on the team, and literally everyone wanted to be the pitcher, of course, because that's the guy that got the most game time. But it was interesting. It wasn't great, but it was interesting.
I would not want to be the pitcher. Too much responsibility. Put me in the outfield. I'll just sit back there, be alt-tabbed, and then the one time the ball comes my way, I'll get yelled at for not getting it.
Too busy mining an Eve?
Yeah, on my other monitor. Or just alt-tab to Eve mining.
Okay, I guess it's time to get going. I mean, we've only been going for 5 minutes now.
Yep. Okay, I'm ready.
I feel bad
I
for
wonder
you.
how much. I wonder what I'm gonna pull out for the Franken episode.
Probably that first bit of like 3-minute banter.
No, that'll probably be outtakes.
Oh, fun times. You know, okay, before we get into news, I would just like to say I just realized, number one, I'm really happy to be here and to be contributing. Number two, I realized I have
now you're happy.
Oh, I really am. I just realized I have completely fucked myself for listening to this. Because I listened to it, I'm like, oh boy, what are they going to talk about this week? And I'm like, oh fuck, I talked about it with them.
This is why I don't download Boosters in Space Tape, is because I'm usually there for at least part of it, being snarky in chat. I'm just trying to disrupt the podcast because it's fun. I'm not sure if it's in the final edit for this last Boosters in Space Tape, or if you guys even listened to it. But I said something in chat that completely disrupted them.
Nice.
I'll go ahead and say what I said. They were talking about, I think it was Mater that was talking about his spaceship design, and he basically said, you get a probe, you get a probe, you get a probe. And then I said in chat, I don't want a probe, I know where they go. And about a minute later, they read that.
That's brilliant. Well, I mean, Kerbals are technically aliens, right? So them probing is not necessarily out of character.
They're going to plumb the depths.
Well, they're curious about the anus because they don't have one.
Just stick that shit right in the mahole. Which, by the way, Jared, where the hell is my mahole miner? I put that challenge out a long-ass time ago.
I honestly never got to it. I do apologize.
No,
for that.
you're good. I never actually expected
it. May never happen.
I don't think you physically can do that, because if you are actually to plug them a hole, I don't think you can actually run solar panels up like the 4 kilometers to provide the power. So you'd need to do some sort of alternate power source.
I can make it work.
All right, so make them a hole plug. Make a butt. I mean, a hole plug. I want to see this shit. I want to see it drilling out shit, rocks, or shit. I don't care.
One day, I'll put it on the list of things that I'm going to get to eventually, right after Dwarf Fortress.
Well, you were asking about
the problem is that once he gets into Dwarf Fortress and gets over that learning curve, he's never coming back because there's so much mining to do, and real geometry or real rocks. You know, you have to know your the actual word names.
Well, I think Jared's good there, but just based on how much he implies that he minds. And Jared, you were saying you were looking for something for the Franken episode. I think this was it.
Yeah, well, there might be quite... I don't know how much of this is going to wind up in the Franken episode. This part, for sure, is going to wind up in the Franken episode.
So, Jared, are you want to take back bringing on a guest now?
Nah, it's fine. The problem is that you had 6 games and I had 10 games.
Yeah, I was going to say, hold on a damn second. I don't think people budgeted their time correctly.
Yeah.
I usually don't have that many games, but this week I actually had games.
Yeah, you guys fucking getting into the mobile market and shit. I'm like, oh, I'm sitting over here with my Factorio on KSP.
Hey, considering I spend probably about 8 or 10 hours with my computer just rendering out YouTube videos. There's not a lot I could do during that time but mobile now.
Yeah, I'm not actually casting shade on that. I'm just... It's kind of funny that, like, you're like, okay, let's bring a guest on, and all the games! Alright, let's fucking do this. Oh, Jesus, I'm getting punchy. It's late here.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
shall we actually get to the news?
It's probably not. Okay, so basically, a few episodes ago, you mentioned Aeromorphs, and oh, what the
Yeah.
fuck did you just post? Who posted that? Was that you? Yes.
Yeah, it was me.
Nice. I just noticed that. Alright, so you were talking about Aeromorphs, and so I'm like, okay, well, I gotta definitely check this shit out.
Right.
So, I check it out, and then it's like, hey, Aeromorphs Reddit. I'm like, obviously I have to click that.
Right.
So I go in there, and mind you, I'm in a car at this point, just waiting for my girlfriend to come out, and I don't remember where the fuck we were going or some shit, but I'm just sitting there, like, scrolling through this shit, and I come across... Fuck, I don't remember the name of the plane, but it was like one of those old jets where the engines were in line with the wings, like a passenger jet.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't remember the name of that to save my life. But she comes out, and this thing... God, I'll see if I can find the picture. But basically, she comes out, takes one look at what I'm doing, and she says, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I had to explain why the hell I was looking at a sexy version of this particular airplane. So at which point she becomes interested in this, and she's like, okay, so what else is there? And apparently, and I say apparently because I'm not very well versed in Rule 42. Where are you?
Don't you mean Rule 34?
Whatever. God, where the fuck is it? Okay. Yeah, here we go. De Havilland comment. Alright, let me see if I can't. Alright, copy image. Alright, so
Okie dokie.
this wasn't the one that prompted that much conversation. This one's actually pretty bad. Which I fucking am a connoisseur now, thank you.
You're welcome.
God damn it. Anyway, so she starts looking into this, and so she says, Jared, is that the one who's the psychologist? And I said, yeah, he's the one who's the psychologist. And she says, is he the one that we were going to play Windward with that one time? I said, yeah. She says, huh. And that was just the end of it. I don't know what that meant. So now, I'm sure in her mind, you are that plain porn guy who likes playing Windward.
That's fine. I can live with that.
But yeah, so like I said, that really had nothing to do with anything, and I figured it was going to be cut out when I started it on this. But it was too long for a tweet and a little too public for a tweet, so I'm like, he should probably know this.
What, did I miss something?
Oh fuck!
Actually, that's just a link to a website. Hang on.
E621. Okay. Okay,
Here we
what
go.
the
This is just
shit did I just stumble into? Yep. That's goddamn mid-air refueling.
And there's Jared's fetish.
Well, if you ask my girlfriend, yeah, it is.
When Jared says he likes fucking planes, he means he likes fucking planes.
Damn.
Oh, here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one.
God, this is going downhill really quickly. Fuck, I didn't go into private mode when I went on this. God damn it, now this is my search engine. Fuck. Not that it matters. Fucking clear my cookies. Oh, fuck, what am I
You know,
clicking?
this is what happens when we go from Laurel and Hardy to the Three Stooges.
Why
This is
is it
interesting.
birthing Soviet eggs? What is this?
Because it was a MiG that,
Yeah, I got that.
raped it.
I got that. But why are they Soviet eggs?
Because it was a MiG that raped it.
Well, shouldn't it be like the Apollo... Fuck, what was that fake one? 20 flag? Alright, so this was, that was the Dragon fucking the jet, which... God, talk about, a burning crotch right there. Turbojets are hot. In more way than one. Mm-hmm. Is that plane wearing a fucking sun hat? What the shit is this? Alright. Moving the fuck on.
So, should we get back on the topic?
I think
I broke
so.
him, yeah.
God damn.
Are we ready to move on to Steam or... Like, I think
we got community.
I think so. I mean, we pretty much said what we were going to about Nintendo.
Okay. All right.
That this is pretty much... Well, Nintendo's already had several tipping points, and this is like the final straw. They have to turn it around now. Otherwise, things are going to change big time.
Yeah, I'm scared. All right,
I'm also not 100% sure what's going on here. Wait, never mind.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. That's fantastic. The Warthog is smoking.
Okay. Moving swiftly on from the conversation we were having that we'll be having
and what Jared is linking in the Skype chat.
For you people, that conversation is going to be part of the Franken episode.
Yeah, no shit it is.
Well done, Kyle. You have now entered podcast infamy.
Have I, though? You haven't released the Franken episode.
Hell.
I'm okay until that day.
That day, which might be coming up sooner than...
Am I glad that I went to go get a drink on that?
I don't
know. Do you want a whole bunch of pictures about Aeromorphs?
God damn it. And just like that, we're back in.
Remember that? Do you remember what that is, Rage?
Yes. Yeah, that's your fetish.
Kyle, before you knew us, I showed a whole bunch of those on a Kerbalcast MP stream once.
Oh, you're now my hero,
I'm surprised you didn't get banned from Twitch.
I didn't get banned from Twitch, and my YouTube video has never been flagged.
Well, so. I don't think boobs in and of themselves, as long as they're presented in an artistic way, are actually against... now, that's questionably art. Are against, YouTube and Twitch policy.
Well, okay, more stuff for the Franken episode, it seems.
Apparently.
Twitch is very, very picky on what they ban and what they don't ban. They banned Yandere Simulator, a game that's not even out. It's in production still.
Yeah, at least give them a chance to get banned. But
Yeah, there's really no reason for it. The only thing I could think of maybe a bit iffy based on what Twitch's terms of service says is that you take penny shots to trade for information from a character.
That's tame.
Yeah, that's pretty much the worst thing. Well, that and all the murder, but come on, it's a video game. There's going to be a lot of violence in video games.
Well, that and all the murder.
Well, that's not an automatic disqualifier either, because you clearly have games with murder as a main point for...
It's essentially... The game itself is essentially Hitman in a Japanese high school.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm 100% alright with that.
With panty shots.
I'm 100% alright with that.
As am I. Wink.
Hoink.
Well, if you just go down the list of banned games, a lot of them are banned not for what they contain, but what they could contain, or what they are perceived to contain. Honeycam. No nudity in it.
Nope, no nudity.
But it's implied very sexual. It is very sexual, but there's no nudity in it. But it's banned.
Yep. Then there's no reason that game should be banned.
Absolutely,
No
I
reason
agree
at all.
with you. I mean, all of the content that could be seen as objectionable is opt-in, right?
Yes, and even and there's no so for Honey Pop, there was if you played it on Steam, there was a patch you could get, or a mod, or whatever you want to call it, that was released by the developers, which would bring back all the nudity in the game. So, I kind of get that, but in Honeycam, there's not even any of that. There are some suggestive photos that you can unlock that are kind of sexy poses, but the girls are dressed. So,
yeah.
I mean,
So is this still Franken episode material?
I
Yeah.
think so.
Ponymorphs? What the shit?
I just was browsing the new posts.
I think you missed a D at the end of that. Anyways, moving swiftly on.
I'd like to thank you all for listening to the first ever Franken episode. You can catch me over at Gaming Psychologist on YouTube, at JMA4707 on Twitter, and if you want to watch me stream on Twitch, you can do so at twitch.tv/jarthur4707. For Rage, you can find him over at Gaming with Caffeine Rage on YouTube. You can find him at Gaming with CR on Twitter. You can tweet to the podcast at VGL Podcast. You can send us in letters to vglpodcast@gmail.com. We'd like to give a special thanks to Kevin McLeod, who provides our intro and outro music, and several of the interesting transition tunes that you've heard today. We'd like to give a special thanks to Internet Archive for unknowingly hosting hours and hours worth of us. And this week we'd like to announce that our Patreon page has fully launched. You can find it over on patreon.com/VGL Podcast. As a very special treat, the music coming across my voice is On the Ground by Kevin McLeod. Normally, we just do the intro and outro portion, which we've cut out of, but this week is a special treat. I'm going to give you guys the whole thing. So until next time, bye-bye now.